Welcome into the DML Network. It's your boy XPERT, and we got another episode of the bye week. And we got two users today that want to talk about their team as they head into their bye week. First up is Addy5, my brother, and those Baltimore Ravens. What's good, Addy?
X, what's going on, bro?
Hey, man, it's another wonderful day. Let's talk Baltimore Ravens. You got probably one of the most talented teams here in the Dynasty. They've been talented from the start, but you have been building on this team for a long time, and you got them right where you want them. And you go into your bye week 7-1 with the only loss coming to another Super Bowl champ, the Dolphins. How do the Ravens look at the first half of the season?
I think the first half of the season, no real complaints. With the results, 7-1. Obviously, you'd love to be perfect with that record, but a tough game, lost it tight. No real complaints from that standpoint regarding the record. For me, it's still about adjusting to this new playbook. We got this new Texans playbook. Harbaugh retired on me. I planned on keeping that playbook the whole cycle. Just another wrinkle, another wrench thrown at me. So I'm trying to figure that book out. It's been okay this far. It's really an adjustment for real. With the familiarity with the other book, certain downs, what to go to, call this, call that.
Right.
So, it's an adjustment to that regard, but it's going well thus far.
We'll get to Harbaugh here in a second, but I wanted to talk about one game on your schedule here, and that was the Week 6 matchup versus one of your good buddies, the user in Wisconsin. And something came out of that game that changed the trajectory of the Dynasty. It's not going to change it that much. I don't think it's going to change that much because I don't think it's that big of a deal. But what was the whole click off, click on argument? And how did you see that playing out? Did you think it was going to turn into what it has now?
So I figured this was going to come up. I was prepped to talk about it. Me, straight shooter, it is what it is.
You wasn't finna get away on the bye week without the click off rule coming up because even you and I went at it because Addy put in the chat, I guess, because listen, to be fair, and I told Addy the same thing, I hate when dudes click off. I hate it. I can't stand it. But I understand why people do it. It's not competitive advantage for people. It's just you can make mistakes as the user so quickly in this game. So I understand the click off. But I wanted to hear your side of it, let you hear it out. The floor is yours.
All right, so the issue is handled. It's not an issue. I'm not afraid to talk about it though. I do think it became an issue because he was so upset about it. And I for the life of me, I can't understand why. For me, as long as I've been playing Madden, a user's play style is their play style. Whether you agree with it, whether you don't, corny, elite, whatever. Like I've faced so many jokers with so many different play styles. Some I liked, some I didn't like, but have I ever complained? No. For me, especially if someone's not cheating or trying to, in my opinion, it's not a manipulation of the game. It's no secret now that the game is pretty poor. From day one, I've said that. And you have to make certain adjustments for it to play a little better. We all know that in the Dynasty, you can't move players pre-snap. There's only one player that you can move pre-snap. Too often, you'll find that your defense is just standing around when a runner is, running a rock, or a receiver has caught a short pass and is turning upfield. So what I had become accustomed to doing is I just move my players into position. And the thing about that is it's weird because although it's a click off, it's always a click back on, like at least with me. So it's click off and the computer does that auto adjust and your angle. And then I usually make the play myself. It's not one of those things where I was trying to get an advantage. To me, it wasn't even that big of a deal. And it's easy to beat if you're asking me. Like if someone clicked off on me, I would show y'all how to beat it. But I'm not giving out tips. But so I didn't get the big issue. But now it's a rule. I guess I've made it because you don't make it in Dynasty until you got your own rule. So now apparently I got a rule that was surfaced off something that had to do with me. So man, it just is what it is. Whatever.
Hey, if that's the truth, man, I really made it because I got a couple rules in the Dynasty. I feel good. But all right, let's talk about the Harbaugh situation. How far out of left field was the retirement?
All right, so you're gonna laugh, and I didn't know. I didn't know. So I mean, usually how it goes is after my season is over, it's over. If I got to re-sign a guy, I log on to re-sign him. But like me, more times than not, I use the off season to like reset because we play the game so much. And so Bruce had actually texted me. This was like the day after, so I'm talking. We're in free agency in that period, and he's like, "What coach you going with?" And I'm like, "What you mean what coach I'm going with?" He said, "What book you going with?" And I'm like, "What you mean what book I'm going with?" And he's like, "Harbaugh retired." I'm like, what do you mean Harbaugh retired? And so I hop on the game, and bro, no lie, I felt like I was in this frantic pace. I'm like, "Yo, like what the hell I'm gonna do?" And so I started trying. Like I promise you, I probably was in the practice mode. And this is what people fail to realize, right? And so about my game, I spent hours in practice. Like, if I have free time, I'll just be in practice trying new stuff, blah, 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 just like plays, different routes I might like. So it's like a lot of time, I spend a lot of time in practice. I practice more than I play these games, like, for me. And so I was just in practice mode, just trying mad. Like, I done Bills book, Washington book, Houston book. I'm just trying book, Seattle book. I'm looking for stuff that's familiar to me, obviously. And I settled on Houston because obviously I was in Texas last year. And for me, it was about familiarity, like with certain plays and things like that.
Okay.
And so I ended up going to Houston. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I'm like, damn, I should have went Washington. So it was like this back and forth. But I'm settled there. But yeah, shout out to Bruce, bro. That's my guy for real. And if not for him, who the hell knows? The computer probably picked up a book from me, and I'd have been going through hell right now. But yeah, that's it, bro. That's the situation.
All right, let's talk about this superstar quarterback you got, Lamar Jackson. His 7th year coming out of Louisville. He's got a little bit over 2,000 yards passing. He's struggling a little bit turning the ball over. Does that concern you as you get deeper into this season?
No concerns at all. I think a lot of it, like I said, new playbook. A lot of times I get stuck in longer yardage, figuring out what to go to. A lot of it is forced passes. It's things that can be, fixed really quick. A lot of it is just being hard-headed, running the ball in situations in the red zone. You force a pass, now it's a pick. So I'm not too concerned with it. I think that as the season goes on, obviously, I get the play calling down to where it needs to be. I stop forcing passes because that happens a lot with me. And then I'll be fine.
Lamar Jackson, such a key part of this offense, not just throwing the ball, your second leading rusher, averaging over 13 yards a carry. Does that continue to be a focus? Is getting Lamar outside the pocket, getting him, getting this offense first down after first down with his legs as well as his arm?
It has to be. For me to be successful, Lamar has to be a well-oiled machine. I think it's no secret, and I don't make it one. The mobile QB is my preference, and it's that for a reason. I think that when you got to worry about a guy passing the ball with all those weapons, and then you got to worry about his halfback, but then you also got to worry about him tucking the ball and going for 20, 30 yards like we know Lamar can with that 97 speed. It's a headache for anybody to scheme against. So for me to be successful at the highest level, I have to.
Does Lamar make it through the entire cycle?
Oh man, that's the question of the day. Everyone watching is probably hoping not. He's sitting at 28 right now. I seen the quarterback go to 43, so I don't see how he doesn't. Obviously, it's a little different now with age. Probably losing some speed with the regression cap that we have with the abilities. Obviously, he'll probably drop, but I think he'll be the quarterback for the rest of the cycle. Now, what he looks like at the end, who knows? But for sure, he'll be the quarterback in Baltimore.
If someone looked at this roster on defense, they would say you probably have the fastest linebacker core in all of Dynasty. How important is these three guys that you put out there? Sometimes four guys. How important are those guys to you?
They're super important, bro. And I was saying this in the chat the other day when we talked about this click off rule. I think that the most elite users still have to build great rosters. You're controlling one guy on the field at a time, and there's 10 other guys that the computer is controlling. So obviously putting the best product out there on the field makes a lot of sense, and it needs to be done. The crazy part about this team is it's not just linebacking core. I think I've put together the fastest Madden team in the history of Madden. I'm almost positive of that. Just looking at it when I go to my passing sets, I think it's only two people out there that aren't a 90 speed, right? Which is nuts. One of my ends is an 88 speed, I think, and then my D tackle is an 81 speed, which is still ridiculous. So you gotta think like it's speed all over the field, and so the onus is placed on the linebackers to make plays in the run game and the pass game. But it's also those DBs and my ends that allow me to play a certain way and press up at the line of scrimmage and just things like that.
So when you look at this roster, as you get closer to high stakes, do you feel there's a certain position you need to improve?
It's difficult, bro, because the thing with this is you can't necessarily gauge the regression. For me, obviously, as the cycle goes along, team's getting older. That's why I always like to try to flip pieces when you can. I always like to sell high, even if it's a detriment to my team, because I think that I can be successful with whatever pieces. As I look at my team, though, my D-line definitely needs some help right now. O-line needs some help, but I think that's across the board in the league. There's not too many O-lines that you would see that are really staunch. Nothing glaring right now, because I think the way I operate, I'll be able to move pieces in and out, but those lines of scrimmages, I think for sure need some addressing or will need addressing quicker, only because, great games are won and lost in the trenches. So that's always so important to have, those units shored up.
Do you see a game on the rest of this schedule that you feel like, okay, this is the game I gotta focus to make sure I get this W?
I didn't even look at my schedule.
That's okay. I'm going to make it easy for you. You play the Browns in Week 15. Is that the only person on your schedule that you even worry about?
All right, so I'm not gonna say he's the only person I'm worried about, but he's always the most important game. Only because, bro, he barely ever loses games. That junk is so frustrating. I was a wild card at 13-3. Like, my lord, when does that ever happen? Like, bro, so it's like neither time. At first, I cringed when he picked the Browns. I can't even lie to you. He picked the Browns, and I'm talking to him DM, and I'm like, bro, the Chargers were available, right? Like what are you doing? And so like, at first it's like, damn, I got to see this guy twice a year, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't have it any other way because he keeps me so sharp. He's a really elite user. I've already said on another show, I think he's the best passer here. He's great with his user DB, so like he keeps me on my toes. And if I can be able to win that game, I set myself up really good to win the division.
Outside of Niner time and maybe the user in Green Bay, are those the top two guys you worry about chasing for a banner?
Yeah, this is gonna sound funny, but they're my 1 and 2 in the league. Some people might push me up, but Kal-El is good, bro. He's really, really good.
How about you also have Matty Ice in Buffalo coming in Week 12. Do you feel like him losing those three players kind of takes him down a notch?
Oh yeah, for sure. That definitely hurt his roster, but with Matty is mental, bro. Like with him, and I've told him this, he knows that sometimes you can lose your game before even playing it. And I think like that's a lot of users with me. If I was playing me, I wouldn't scare me, right? But I think like pregame, the success I've been able to have, the pieces I have on my team, sometimes it scares guys in the way they play. And so like I know on multiple occasions, Matty has come in tentative. He hasn't played the way he should, and he often does that with me. So, it's a mental aspect for him, but like, yeah, his roster got crippled for sure. So it doesn't bode well with the speed I have at receiver. So yeah, I would definitely lean myself in that matchup.
Does Addy 5 and the Ravens win a Super Bowl this year?
Shoot, I certainly hope so, bro. That's always the goal.
How frustrating has it been that you have not raised the banner in a couple seasons?
It's 2 cents now. Not as frustrating. I think for me, like before I won my first one, it was a while, so it taught me a little bit of patience. And so I know that throughout the rigors of a cycle, facing so many guys, sometimes you don't even get one. And so in the first 4, I've already gotten one. So I think I've put myself in some good position. I'm not frustrated right now. Obviously, I want to be a perfectionist, and so I always want to win games. But I think that sometimes the L's, like this game gets tight. Prime example, you beat me. And after, I wasn't mad or anything like that, but after, I always rewatch games to see what I could have done. And that game allowed me to see some areas that needed improvement. So it's like, things like that you could always learn from. So, no, I ain't tripping. I think I'm going to get one eventually. Hopefully it's this season. I would love for it to be this season. I ain't going to put my foot in my mouth. So, no comment, but I'm certainly aiming for it.
Okay, so something totally not Dynasty related because, you and I have kind of built a deeper relationship because of our faith that we have outside of this game. And so I want to ask a serious question, and I've asked you this question probably more times than you want to answer. So I'm going to ask again. When do we have a Addy Jr.? I mean, come on, dude. Come on, dude. You got to stop practicing on the field and actually score a touchdown. At some point, we got to have an Addy Jr.
All right, so jokingly, KP, obviously we know he's expecting. So I'm going to let that half of the firm take care of it for now. And as he reports back, I'll let you know. I mean, realistically, I can see next year. We've talked about it. And, like, obviously kids are in the plans. But, bro, they're such a responsibility.
I'm glad you brought up the other half of the firm. When your wonderful wife finally does have y'all decide to have a kid, is your Madden game gonna go in the tank like your boy KP?
Oh man, I will retire before that, bro. Oh man, I couldn't. K knows I can't stomach that kind of stuff, bro. I gracefully bow out before y'all see me get knocked out in the 8th round of a fight. Man, I'm good. And Nikki supports it. I mean, whenever I'm ready to go, she's cool with that. As long as I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna be competitive just because that's who I am. So whenever I start declining, just know that the deuce is gonna get checked like Tyreek really soon.
All right, man. Hey, Addy, appreciate you jumping on talking about your Ravens. Good luck the rest of the year, and we look forward to seeing you in the playoffs in the AFC.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, that is Addy 5, owner of those Baltimore Ravens. But today we have a double dip here on the bye week. Coming on the show, it's none other than Bino and those New England Patriots. What's up, Bino?
What's up, brother? What's up, Dynasty?
All right, so first question out the gate. How did you feel about getting the Bino Hurt moniker on your name after all of that nonsense went down with Andy Force and all that? the gift that just kept giving from the homie Bino.
It was lovely, man. This is all real fun and games. I'm not gonna lie, it's my good part of the Dynasty. When slight comes my way, shit talk comes my way, or smack talk comes my way, I laugh it off and I'm not gonna take it that serious. But as Addy mentioned, I do got a competitive edge. I feel that's different. But yeah, I wouldn't feel no kind of that I accept my name. I keep it there for the whole cycle.
All right, let's talk about this team. You came out the gate 0-2. You had a tough schedule. You had the Bucks come in week 1. You had Matty Ice and the Bills in week 2. And did those 2 losses kind of wake you up as the Patriots owner and say, okay, we got to get some things going quickly, or we're going to find ourselves behind the 8 ball before we even get to the bye week?
Most definitely. My division, every year, you have to out of your 6 division games and look at it. So if I already lost one to Matty Ice, lost one to a good Force, to me, I can't really afford to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, my outlook is after this bye week, the playoffs already started. I mean, I gotta win more games not to tension, especially in the AFC. So yeah, it definitely woke me up. And I definitely do kind of go back to that tape to where I took those big L's. If you look at the wins losses that I got in my schedule, you'll see I'm losing 10 to 15, maybe touchdowns. But in those 2 losses, it was an embarrassment. And that,
Well, you were close. In the Bucks game, you only lost by 7. You lost by 11 points to the Bills. But then you bounce back, get a big win versus Taz and the Bengals. You get Nasty Noop and the Falcons. JB and the Texans, and then C-Rob and the Panthers. You get 4 in a row. And then you see Niner Time, who we all say is one of the greatest users here in the Dynasty. And he kind of gets you. But then you bounce back with the Steelers right before your bye week. Do you feel like you've won the games you were supposed to in the first half of your season, and the teams that are playoff teams, that are good users with the Andy Forrest, the Matty Ice, Niner Time, those are the games that if you want to take the next step, you got to find a way to beat those guys.
absolutely. Right, that's absolutely my outlook the entire year. I looked at my schedule at the beginning of the year and already charted my losses. I had a win charted against Andy Forrest. That was a loss I took, but now you'll see on my schedule, I got the Jets twice, I got the Dolphins twice, I got Addy, who ain't even mentioned my name in that previous interview, but I'm gonna try to give him some smoke. So me, like I said, the playoffs already started, and if I'm able to pull out a win, I know, against this upcoming schedule, with the exception of possibly he's still a good. The exception of him, if I get a win against any of these other teams, my team is primed and ready for the playoffs. It's more about me controlling and making the right decision.
Let's talk about your quarterback. You got Russell Wilson standing back there. 68%, 9 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Does it start at the quarterback position of why we need to get this Patriots team turned around? Your quarterback with more interceptions than he's thrown touchdowns.
It does, and it also bleeds into the wide receiver. Look at my roster. I have my highest overall wide receiver at 70, but I got a lot of youth and a lot of different traits and a lot of different areas. So I got to scheme those guys in the right spots for the right plays. And that's what I'm kind of focused on now, is looking at things outside of overall traits. So if I got a speedy wide receiver like I got Ricky Cofield, I'm going to put him against even not so fast wide receiver. So I just got to scheme better. But when it comes to execute, definitely have to. All 12 of those interceptions, at least half of them are on me.
Right.
This throwaways that I could just hold on to the ball. So it definitely starts with the quarterback position, but it holds him the wide receiver.
We've seen some of Sean Cameron this year, the 4-year player coming out of USC. Is he the quarterback of the future in New England?
Most definitely. I've actually talked to a couple of different really, really good youth, some not so good youth. They asked me, why are you not playing this guy? That's the only way you're going to get XP is by playing. And I agree. But Sean Cameron, over the last 4 years, has not led us to playoff. The last playoff chance we got was when we had Cam Newton. So we decided to go in a direction and give Sean Cameron a Carson Wentz year, let him chill out. And we'll plug him in, need him, but he's definitely the quarterback. 5-year, like $40 million deal. So he's definitely going to get his playing time. We just need a buffer so we can build up those wide receivers.
When you look at this offensive line, you got some aging veterans on this offensive line. Do you have the guys in place? You do have a couple rookies on the line. Your left guard right now, of course, Joe Tooney. He's been such a key piece of this offense. Do you feel like with this offensive line, once they finally get some togetherness as a group, you got a rookie, a 1-year guy, maybe this rushing attack kind of takes some pressure off of those 2 quarterbacks and maybe turn this into a little bit more balanced team and allow maybe Geis and Stewart to kind of take over at that running back position?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, with offense, you gotta plug them in the right spot and make sure they gel. And you can tell by my roster, that was my right. I'm not gonna drop no jewels, but I definitely need a premier rushing attack on any down. Need to be a threat to be able to run the ball, so that way it opens up the pass game, push those side, opening up you know, small things, slant routes, the stick route, so that way we can open up the ball and get the ball quickly. But absolutely, I think we need one or two pieces to be able to be as successful, especially in the AFC and in the.
Let's talk about the new addition you got today. Jalen Ramsey walks into the building. He immediately becomes your best cornerback. Jonathan Jones, also a good guy, but when you get a guy like Ramsey, 99 overall, he can just kind of take over. Do you feel better about this defensive secondary when you get a guy like 27 Jalen Ramsey walking in the door?
Absolutely, most definitely. So I did a little bit of statistics and I looked at BR this bye week, and my highest rated defender is my safety, Kyle Duggar. He's got 6 picks, he's got 45 tackles, he's got 5 TFLs, leading my team in TFLs, and we finally got somebody to take the pressure off. Right. Ramsey is able to basically disable a whole side of a field, which is going to allow my defense to be much more aggressive and the pass. So definitely, he walked in, he came in with a suit all shining and whatnot, ready to go. So we excited to plug in.
All right,
we really think we can make a lot of noise.
Yeah, definitely. When you get a guy like Ramsey, definitely takes your defense to a different level. All right, you talked about this schedule coming out of this bye week. You got a tough matchup right out the bye week. Tight work and the Dolphins first. And I mean, if you look at this second half of this roster, you got the Dolphins, you got the Jets twice. You talked about Addy 5 and the Ravens. Then you finish the season with the Dolphins and the Bills. Is this kind of a murderer's row schedule here for the Patriots? And when you look at this schedule, do you feel like maybe this is one of those years we don't see the Patriots in the playoffs?
I think there's a potential that you don't see the Patriots in the playoffs, but that's a potential every year. We can't come in with that mindset thinking we're not going to make it. Definitely feel like we can make it. We just have to capitalize. So when I look at, Tight and the Dolphins, I look at it as receiving. And none of them are really, really blazers, but Tight's really, really good at the airy jump ball battles, winning. And so I got to basically scheme up each opponent that I have, right? And when you look at the Jets, right now they lead in the league in scoring 109. That's time I check. So even though he may not be an air raid type of, he's still gonna put up that run. So then my scheme changes from week to week to week. So in order for us to really make the playoffs, we have to be flawless with preparation. I need to be practice lab, constantly drawing up plays and plugging in. And then I gotta execute, limiting the turnover, making sure we power in the run game. I'm really trying to have 2,000-yard running backs with Geis and Stewart, and then have a successful season with our receiver, Kofi. And I think that'll be a recipe for success to get us to the playoffs. Now, getting in the playoffs, that's a whole different story. But no, our outlook is definitely trying to get to the playoffs 1 week at a time, one at a time.
How difficult is it being in this division with the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills every single year?
Oh man, I didn't realize what I signed up for, X. Being completely honest, man. When I first signed up for it, obviously I picked the Patriots, and then I think Marley picked the Jets right after me. I knew Tight and Maddie from way back. And I knew they were going to be competitors. But being in this division, man, I can't even look outside of my division. Right, my toughest games are in my division, AFC, and then it's outside, with the exception of that Bay and Mr. Addy and the Niners that I faced this year. But yeah, if that's my goal every year, is to win at least 6 division games, and that'll put me in a good position in the playoffs. Because after you play those type of guys that I have in my division, I'm not going to say playing everybody else is easy, but it's not as difficult. You're not playing people who are actually really, really good, that know you, tendencies to play, that they know receivers, they know your team inside and out. So it's definitely difficult to get outside the AFC. And that's our goal every year. Gotta hit the free throw, we start shooting.
Do the Patriots make the playoffs this year?
I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb and say yes. I think I got some real winnable matchups, especially after the addition of Jalen Ramsey. And I think I know the teams, especially in the division, pretty well. Certain tendencies, things change with playbooks and personnel every year, but their user behind the sticks really don't change. And that's what tendency got. Like I say, Jets who likes to run the ball, he go run the ball. We stop the run, we pass, we the better. You got tight, where you never really know what you're gonna get. He has a very fierce defense. Ball, control the clock. You got Matty, who has a really, really good offense, regardless of out there. He's gonna be able to throw that ball. He's gonna put that rock right there. I think it's safe to say that we're gonna definitely playoffs here, or try for it, maybe even a wild card. But yeah, I think we.
All right, man. Anything you got that you want to, tell your division mates, the dynasty? We talked about we're gonna keep it Bino hurt as long as possible. But anything you want to get off your chest, what you think about the dynasty or to the guys, the floor is yours. I'm gonna let you finish the show. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, yeah. A couple of things. One, man, this is all fun and games. Smack talking chat is just what it is. Smack talking chat. Be getting grown. Second thing is the whole PC, non-PC stuff. Don't nobody care about that. If you're in the PC, cool. If you're not in the PC, cool. It really don't matter. There's plenty of outlets where you can get me, myself, I'm not in the PC. But I ain't got no animosity towards nobody. It's all love, man. I can feel the love for the Dynasty family. And to those guys in the AFC, just know I'm coming. Vino is definitely coming. I've been having a young team for the last 3 some odd seasons, trying to make the right moves, having 10 plus picks in the draft to get us in preparation for the high stakes season. And now it's all about just piecing it together for the Patriots, being able to put that out on the field. I could throw 30 interceptions, 10 touchdowns. If I got 10 wins, I'm happy. So that's my outlook. Just know, y'all come play the Patriots. It's a dogfight until it's not a dogfight.
I like it.
That's all I got to say.
All right, Bino, man. Appreciate you jumping on, talking about your Patriots. Man, good luck the rest of the way. We look forward to seeing what those Patriots do the second half of the season.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
All right, guys. That is Mr. Bino, owner of the Patriots here in the DML. Another great episode of the bye week. Don't forget, hit that like button. Follow the channel. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we can do better. We appreciate each and every one of you. On behalf of the DML Network, it's your boy XPERT, and I'm out.